Season 2 of Squid Game is finally here, and it brings us a story full of action and adrenaline. But what does the ending mean? What will happen to Gi-hun? These are questions we are going to answer. Today on CharlieTales, we will analyze the ending, and I'll tell you everything about what we'll see in Season 3 of Squid Game. Ready? Let's begin. Season 2 is set 2 years after the end of Season 1. Gi-hun has spent the last few years trying to track down the organizers of Squid Game to put an end to these games once and for all. After waiting for so long, he finally reunites with the recruiter from the first season. And thanks to him, he manages to arrange a meeting with the frontman, the main organizer of Squid Game. Gi-hun's original plan was to gather a small team and kidnap him. However, his plan failed, and the only option left was to join the games again. He knows that he can destroy them from the inside. The rest of the season tells us how Gi-hun participates in the games and tries to protect other participants. But it's not easy, as the frontman infiltrates the players using the number 001 and even befriends Gi-hun. Meanwhile, the police officer from the first season does everything he can to locate Gi-hun and ambush the organizers of Squid Game. The season ends with Gi-hun gaining several allies and, with their help, organizing a revolt against the Pink Guards. Initially, their plan works, but everything falls apart when the frontman betrays them. The final scene shows the frontman killing Gi-hun's friend right in front of him. This was the season's summary. With that context, let's move on to the analysis. What will happen to Gi-hun? His plan failed, and his best friend was killed. Most likely, Gi-hun will neither be imprisoned nor sent home. He will be forced to participate in new games to entertain the VIPs. Let's remember that this group of millionaires only arrives for the finals of Squid Game. It's almost certain they will appear in Season 3, and they will need entertainment. Like it or not, Gi-hun will have to keep playing to survive. Also, for obvious reasons, the show's production can't make a Season 3 without introducing new games. That's the essence of the series, so one way or another, Gi-hun will continue playing. We also need to consider something. At no point in the season finale does Gi-hun discover that 001 is the frontman. When Gi-hun sees him shooting his friend, the frontman is already wearing the mask. As far as Gi-hun knows, 001 was captured by the guards, so in Season 3, he will likely still believe that 001 is his friend. He might even try to rescue him. This revelation is being saved for the series finale. Now let's talk about the frontman. This season, he took on a more prominent role by infiltrating as a player and even befriending Gi-hun. But why did he do all this? First of all, he did it to thwart any dangerous plans by Gi-hun. The frontman couldn't allow Gi-hun to ruin the games since they need to broadcast them for the audience. So the best way to control Gi-hun was to become his friend and keep a close watch on him. But there's another more important reason. The truth is that the frontman did all this to compete with Gi-hun and beat him in a bet. What do I mean? The series presents a clash of ideals between these two characters. Gi-hun and the frontman represent two opposing views of humanity. Gi-hun is a character who always sees the good in the world. He has faith in humanity. On the other hand, the frontman thinks the opposite. He believes that humans are inherently bad. Everyone is capable of doing horrible things when faced with necessity. These two philosophies represent the true battle of the season. In episode 2, when Gi-hun speaks with the frontman, he agrees to return as a player to prove to him that people don't work the way the frontman thinks. The frontman accepted the challenge and allowed Gi-hun to participate. At first, Gi-hun demonstrates his nature by saving as many players as he can. He has always been good, and this is clear to us. But when we reach the final episode, there's a shift. Gi-hun plans an attack against the guards, but to achieve it, he needs to sacrifice members of his own team. The frontman is thrilled during this scene because this is what he wanted to prove. He wanted to show that even someone as good and noble as Gi-hun would be capable of killing people if necessary. We need to understand something. The frontman is a player, someone obsessed with proving his point through the games. The old man from Season 1 was the same. Let's remember that he ended his life betting in a game against Gi-hun. The same happened with the recruiter. In episode 1, he died betting against Gi-hun in a clash of philosophies. All these characters are obsessed with the games and want to prove their ideals through competition. The frontman is no different, and Gi-hun represents everything that contradicts his philosophy. That's why he must defeat him. Let's move on to another question. What will happen to the police officer? He spent the entire season searching for Gi-hun, but never succeeded because someone was leaking information. In the end, it's revealed that the captain of his ship is the traitor. It's very likely that the captain was the one who leaked the information that Gi-hun had a tracker in his tooth. Before starting the search, the police officer himself shared this detail. This betrayal becomes more serious when we remember that the officer has known this man for 2 years. The captain was the one who saved him from dying at the end of season 1. He said he found him on the beach, wounded by a gunshot. Now that we know he's a traitor, we can infer that he's been working with the frontman from the beginning. I would even dare to think that the frontman used this man from the start to save his brother. Let's remember that at the end of season 1, the frontman himself shot him in the shoulder. He likely did this to protect him. If he had wanted to kill his brother, he would have shot him in the head. The frontman planned to save his brother from the start and used this captain to get him off the island. Season 2 tells us that the officer and the captain have been sailing for 2 years without finding Squid Game Island. Clearly, this captain avoided the island in every investigation. He just had the officer wandering around, wasting time. This was also ordered by the frontman, ensuring that his brother would stay far from the island and never find anything. Now everything has changed. We know who the traitor is, and it's only a matter of time before the police officer identifies him. Season 3 will likely show how the officer discovers the betrayal and forces the captain to take him to the real Squid Game Island. Let's move on to another question. What will happen to the players? Most likely they will all participate in the Squid Game finals, which will be featured in Season 3. There's not much mystery there. The only player still in question is 246, who initially seemed to have been killed by the guards. But I believe he's still alive. If we look closely, the guard who shoots him has a triangle mask, just like the North Korean girl. The season introduced us to this woman who met the sick daughter of the player and grew fond of him. Moreover, we are never shown where he is shot or see his body. It's more than obvious that he's alive. Let's remember that Season 2 told us about this woman refusing to participate in the guard's human organ trafficking. Most likely, the series will use this idea to reveal that 246 was only injured and sent to have his organs removed. From there, the woman could help him escape. Let's move on to the last question. What does the post-credits scene mean? Here, we see the classic Squid Game doll and some unknown players. But the interesting part is that we are also introduced to a male version of the doll, and even a traffic light is shown. The scene makes it clear that this is a version of the classic doll game, but with 2 robots watching. I can only see 2 logical possibilities. The first option is that this is a preview of the games in which Gi-hun will participate in Season 3. The Squid Game organization has regained control of the players, so they can force them to keep playing. In this context, it would make sense to see new games, and one of them could be this one, featuring 2 giant dolls. The other alternative is that these are scenes from the past. The location has an old-fashioned style. They could be scenes from an earlier edition of Squid Game. Perhaps these were the games in which the police officer's brother participated before becoming the frontman. In Season 1, it was revealed that he won Squid Game in 2015. I believe these scenes could be from that competition. It wouldn't be surprising, as Season 2 has made an effort to explain much about this character's past. Which of these theories do you think is more logical? Personally, I lean toward the past theory. To me, it would be too repetitive for Season 3 to make Gi-hun face the doll in a similar game again. It would be the 3rd time he has to confront it. But what do you think? That's all for today. If you liked the video, you'd really help me out by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also, remember to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.